Hey Caminantes, welcome to this Caminando Juntos session. We are making decisions toward holistic well-being. And some of you have decided to go for walks during the morning. Some of you have decided to go to Sabbath, practice, different spiritual practices that help us in our holistic well-being. But right now we would like to see together a graph from Pete Scazzero about behavioral change. When we are addressing changes in our behavior, it takes time. We need to be slow in these changes, and we need to have patience about what we are doing together. This first step that Pete is mentioning is how we create awareness. First, in this change, we realize that something exists. We realize that something is possible, and we want to take advantage maybe of this next step. When we go to the second step in the behavioral change, now not only we know that exists, but we ponder, we evaluate. We compare some practices and we say, is this possible for me? And because we are evaluating, we look for information, maybe we read some articles, we read some books, we look for videos, we share with some friends. Hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? We do that when we ponder. That is part of the change. After that, we go to the third step. And the third step is that when we have decided for something that is important to us, we have given value to that. We want to take advantage of that in our lives, and we want to put it as an ideal for our lives. But the difference here is that even when we value something, that doesn't mean that we have made changes in our behavior. That's why it's so important that we maybe don't take further steps here, because we need to be sure that we have implemented this in our own lives. Sometimes we think that because we have read 2 or 3 books about something, we are already experts on that we can make a training about that. But that doesn't mean that we are living that, right? We can value something, but it's very different when we are talking about our own behaviors. And that is the point when we try to experience what we are living. And in that experience, in that journey, maybe we have some issues. Maybe we have one perfect week, and the next one, we couldn't start again with that rhythm, and we go back and forth, right? And this is the part that Pete mentioned. This is a gap. We have a behavioral gap here, going for the implementation, going to try to acquire that new rhythm. Some people also call this part a wall, a pared. We cannot continue because we hit that, right? And we try, and it's so difficult. Sometimes because we feel so failure about this, we don't want to share this with other people. And actually, this is the moment that we need to invite people to help us, right? This is the moment that maybe you need to talk to some colleagues, to some peers, to some friends. Hey, I'm trying to make this possible in my life, but it's difficult. This is my struggle. This is my reality. What are you doing to do this better? This is a time as well that we not only invite friends, but we could invite some experts to our life. As when we build a bridge, we invite maybe an engineer, we invite a person who has knowledge doing that bridge, right? It's the same thing with our behaviors. It's the same thing with our conduct. We need to invite people that are experts in that area, maybe a therapist, maybe a spiritual director, maybe a counselor that can help you, that accompany you in this process of making changes towards holistic well-being. But this requires some vulnerability for our part. This requires to go deeper in our senses, and sometimes we don't want to do this. We also invite you to pray, and pray not only by yourself, but pray with others. Pray together for these things in that way that you can feel that accompany of others. When we go to the fourth step, when we have gone through that gap completely, and now we are prioritizing this new rhythm, this new practice is part of our life, but because we have put it in our calendar, now it's part of our daily, but we need to think about it. We need to give prioritization about what we are doing. Maybe you want to have more dates with your wife, or maybe you want to consider to walk in the mornings, or maybe you want to consider Sabbath. But since it is not part of your own culture, you need to put it in your calendar. You need to do something so you can remember this is part of your new life. And the last thing is that we own it. We own the practice. Now we don't have to think about it because it's just normal part of our own routine. If you have had the opportunity to go to Israel, you're gonna notice that they don't think maybe about Sabbath. Sabbath is just part of their normal culture. It's not part of ours. But you can see maybe people, kids, young people running at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just getting ready for the Sabbath. They are not thinking about that, but they are just already celebrating, getting prepared for that. So, and when we own it, it's just part of our new rhythm. We don't need to think about it because it's part of our life. We invite you to take patience, to have patience with you, to have peace, to have compassion with you and your own journey, because probably you are in a different step. We are growing together. Give you time.